Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jon Belkowitz.
And I'm Whitney Belkowitz.
And we're from Intelligent Concrete, and we're back!
We are.
Well, kind of.
Moderately.
We're doing some videos.
Yes.
Haley is not letting us do any videos anymore. Boo!
No,
It was not my idea.
There's just so many, but we are going to do the occasional video.
Yep,
again.
definitely are. And today, our title is a little bit clickbait by Haley. And I'm not looking over how lack of technical transfer is killing the planet by Intelligent Concrete.
I feel like it's pretty intense.
It is intense.
Yes.
Very important topic.
Yes.
There have been a lot of folks talking about it. I think Lafarge Wholesome, Karen Scrivener through TED Talks. It has been getting more and more accepted to talk about the use of concrete in a more efficient manner. So the setup is, when it comes to the production of cement,
Right.
can't get past that CO2 emission, can we?
No. And it's in the range of 3 to 8% with an average around 5.
You take calcium carbonate, you heat it up to how many thousands of degrees? I keep hitting this.
Very
You
hot.
heat it up.
Hotter than the sun.
No, that's
Not
not
true, but very hot.
But you heat it up a few thousand degrees or a couple thousand degrees Fahrenheit. You liberate CO2, take that calcium carbonate and transfer it or convert it to calcium oxide. And that is one of the main cementing components of our hydraulic mechanism. And we can't get past that.
Correct.
Unless, of course, we say that tomorrow morning there will be something on CNN. University discovers new cement that will save the day.
God bless it.
God bless it.
If they do.
But
today, it's not the case.
assuming they do. So we just did the setup, right? That's where we're at with cement. 5 to 8%, liberation of CO2. We just can't get past it. Let's assume for a second tomorrow we woke up. There was a CNN newsreel. They don't do newsreels. There was a CNN YouTube video, live feed. I think those are the right words. University came up with a new cement.
Right.
Companies can produce it tomorrow.
Right.
What do you think the likelihood of that succeeding at an accelerated rate?
Not very high.
In our industry?
No, because our industry is not quick to change.
You would be high if you thought that it would be quick to change.
Oh dear.
So the unfortunate reality is our industry is slow to change. And I'm sure we've got those subscribers who are watching this right now. No, John, I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the innovator.
And there's a handful out there.
God bless you. We appreciate you.
But
And
that's
if you were
not
here,
the norm.
give you a hug. Maybe like a air hug.
Social distance.
Appropriately.
Social distance hug. We live together. You watch yourself.
Still, I'm social distance from you.
Anyways.
So what we're trying to get at, let me just get back to our notes, is the unfortunate reality is our industry is slow to change.
Right.
And a lot of the decisions that our ready-mix providers, contractors, engineers, and architects alike make, when they say yes to a new technology, they're saying yes to a 10 or 20-year commitment.
Right. The engineers specifically, I guess.
Okay, fine. The ready-mix providers, they got to
too.
empty a silo and fill it back up, and they haven't used this technology.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that the assumption is that tomorrow morning when we wake up, we have those technologies already exist.
And there is so much research and so much data and proven evidence showing that they are.
We once had a client, and if you're watching, said that the concrete, I say the term unfortunate reality. And he said, John, the unfortunate reality is your industry would rather sit in their chairs and clip coupons to save money rather than innovate. And a lot of the conflict that we see is that engineers, architects, all those folks, they don't want to take the chance.
Right.
Not because they don't see the return on investment. The return on investment might be, staring them in the face, but it's this risk word that they often get hung up on.
Which, is so surprising to me because
I knew I was opening a can.
No, stop though. The whole thing that you're supposed to do as civil engineers is look out for people in the world and the best approach to doing things. And by doing that, we're doing the opposite of what we're trained to do.
Okay, so let's take for a moment that you were that civil engineer. You know, civil, by the way, means for the people. An engineer for the people. So you as the engineer say, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take a chance.
Sure.
Risk is the big word.
Sure.
Is it just the engineer that you have to convince?
No, it's architect, it's the ready mix provider, it's the entire team that you have to get on board. I mean, if you can get what engineers are able to like push
to a certain extent
to a point, but yeah, you have absolutely got to get everyone on board, because if they're not, then certain people in the critical path could tamper with things to.
For the engineers who are watching, the civil engineers who are watching this right now, I don't know if this is going to come as a surprise to you, but you don't know that much about concrete. And you really don't do, we both know, you don't do a lot with concrete mix design. I know you put your minimum cements, and ooh, John, I went to ACI 318 to get my classification and for my durability, but come on. We both know that you can come up with the specification, but the contractor, they're going to go to the ready mix provider and say, hey, here's my spec. To their salesperson, here's my spec. Right. What do you got that meets this spec? I mean, frankly, outside of that,
right.
You know, there's only one question on the PE. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I won't say the question. On the PE for concrete. As a civil engineering student, you only had 40 minutes of concrete mix design. So when it comes down to it, the folks who are at the ready mix provider, those contractors, the ones who make and deliver concrete, they know a lot more about concrete mix design. So the expectation that the engineer
is the one making that
should be the innovator
and
calling the shots.
Right.
They might be calling the shots, but when it goes down that critical path that Whitney was talking about, some of that decision-making power gets taken away from them or changes hands.
Right.
So what Whitney was saying, it's not just the engineer, it's the entire team that we have to convince, and sometimes that can be very hard, hence the reason it takes sometimes a decade or so
or more
to get technologies into the industry.
Right.
Or more is if the technology is not even palatable, it's not scalable.
Right.
You know, this entire assumption is we're talking about great technologies aren't necessarily great for the industry.
Right.
So we're not trying to piss on Cheerios here. It's the reality that we deal with every day, and that's where the resolution is. That's where we come in. We facilitate
that technical transfer,
as well as talking to those different parties, either separately or together, to push them over the fence. I don't know why I needed to do, but it felt right. It felt right. And you know, Whitney and I have had to answer those questions. What will this do to my concrete in 10 years?
And that evidence is available. You know, like that's...
My favorite is, well, okay, but that's concrete you did in Colorado. I'm in Wyoming, and my concrete is different.
Yeah, it's a little different, but come on.
Come on. I love that. Come on. And she's right, come on. Right? If, you know, here's the thing. If I approach somebody with a technology and it can ASR, freestyle attack, corrosion resistance, shrinkage resistance, but it's going to cost you $3 to $4 extra a cubic yard.
Right.
More than likely that won't pass. Now, if I've got a product that'll do 1/4 of that, but instead of costing $3 to $4 a cubic yard, they'll save 50 to 75 cents all day long.
But even then, not all day long. Even when they're saving money, it's not all day long.
Sorry.
And that's what's so frustrating too. Like when the data's there, the price point is right, the cement efficiency is there. So not only are you getting a break on your cement, you're saving money in your mix, you're creating a more durable mix, maybe you're even getting LEED credits. They're still like...
Let me be the ready mix provider's advocate here. I hate to say devil's advocate because that could be misconstrued. Let me be the ready mix provider's advocate. Okay, so you're telling me I've got to start putting something into the back of my truck that I've never used. I've been using Class F fly ash for 30 plus years, man. Or 10 years.
Right.
Right? But mom and pops, large
Sure.
provider, I've been using this for years,
Right.
and I have an 80-ton to 200-ton silo. You're telling me I've got to empty that out and fill it back up? Or
Right.
are you telling me that now I have to hand feed it to the back of my
Sure.
truck, either with buckets or dissolvable bags, or if it's a liquid admixture, now I got to plumb in a new, like there's a reason for
Sure.
them to be
Sure.
hesitant and to say no, because I tell you something, love, my love, the love of my life, my beautiful wife, even if the replacement for Class F fly ash is not there, because that's what we're talking about, folks.
Right.
These new technologies that have to replace the old ones that are going away. Slag, I'm sorry, you're not going to be shipping that in from India. That is not sustainable. And we don't have enough slag here.
Right.
So the question is, what can we do to replace it? It has to be something new.
Sure.
And it's just,
Well,
it's a gamble.
right.
Because you're supposed to trust a salesman.
Sure.
And then, I mean, where in a ready-mix provider is a budget for research? Where's the time?
Right. Right, no, I get all that, but here's the thing, the fly ash that they're using today isn't the fly ash that they were using all that time ago. It just has the right name.
But that's
So,
my point.
They're
is
quick
that
to,
my point is, so sorry to interrupt,
No, you're
but
fine.
that was my point, that even if they don't have the replacement,
Sure.
concrete still goes down the chute
right,
into the formwork. Even, funny story. Story time! Story time! Friday afternoon, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon,
Sure.
this is a couple years ago. Had a buddy of mine, United States Air Force Academy, buddy who helped me get through basic training, called me up and said, hey John. I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. That's not his name. That's not his name. Or her name. Hey, blah, blah, blah. How you doing? Pretty good, buddy. How you doing? Living the dream, making it break it. He asked, hey, can you write me a letter with a PE stamp? And I said,
sure.
heck. I didn't say sure. It was a military, but I said, heck yeah. What do you need the letter on? He said, and I quote, I got 200 yards going out on Monday. We can't get fly ash. Got a whole bunch of ASR out here. I need you to write me a letter that says I don't need to use any fly ash and I can get those 200 yards out the door and not worry about ASR. No, we didn't write the letter.
Right.
Guess what happened though?
It still went out
Concrete went down the chute.
without the ash.
And it was colored too, which was an expensive mix. But that's the reality. Concrete is going to be delivered. Construction is not going to stop. It's up to us, as well as you, to be those concrete superheroes, to help usher in
Right.
these new and emerging technologies to save the world with all the concrete in it. So thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ding that bell for notifications. Go concrete!
Beat asphalt!